Good morning and welcome to Where You At, the Sunday morning community chat show. With me today are the founders of FYB Theater, Jessica Hanna, Danny Blinkoff, Matthew Pittner. I'm Paul Hungerford, and we are so happy that you're here. Thanks for joining us on our MayDay launch day. And boy, could we have picked a better name than MayDay to be our launch day. So this show is going to focus on the health and well-being of communities. And today we're going to start a little bit with the LA community. Our guests are Jessica Hanna, as I said, Danny and Matthew. In the booth is Arlo helping us out. And our moderator today is Allison helping out in the booth, or should I say, in the chat. We're off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. Welcome to Where You At. So here we are, ready to discuss the most wonderful start of a channel. We literally chose MayDay as the 31st because it obviously the 31st relating to our Outpost 13. Everybody here on this chat right now, we're all the members of FYB Theater, which is a new not-for-profit that is just getting started. Outpost 13 is the digital arm of that theater, that performance venue, if you will, which does not exist yet, but it's the beginnings. It's the seedlings have been planted. And so really quick, let's just go around and introduce everyone to everyone. Jessica Hanna, good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Excellent.
I mean, yes, here I am. MayDay.
Yeah, exactly. Matthew Pittner, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Where are you at, man?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here in I'm in Burbank actually. I'm not in Los Angeles proper. But I am here in the LA universe. Danny Blinkoff, of course. How are you, Danny? Where are you at?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think that perfectly encapsulates how everyone is feeling on this chat right now. Where are you at, chat? How are you all doing out there? I hope you're going to check in with us. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us if you're safe. Of course, feel free to share your feelings about how you see the community doing right now, because that's what's important to us, to connect with people and find out exactly what's going on with you. I know for me, I was up till about 2 a.m. before I just threw the phone down and stopped reading. Let me say this really quick. I just want to add this. One of our missions here at FYB Theater and Outpost 13 is to provide an accessible sanctuary for artists, creators, and unsung storytellers and audiences to realize their imagination. By combining technology and live theatrical experience, we foster and amplify the inclusive and equitable communities we want to see in our world. So that said, that light statement, and again, what a day to choose to make that statement as your opening statement. Where are you at? Any one of you three, where are you at? I don't want to speak first. I'm happy to speak first, but I want to open the door to everyone to share. I'm very emotional. I was emotional on Thursday trying to navigate everything coming up this weekend. And then I was a crying baby during SpaceX launch. And then my jaw was on the floor for most of Saturday afternoon, where I was in conflicting emotions between how are we so capable of so much and so incapable of so much. Yeah. Yeah. And I have two children. I have two little girls, 12 and 7. We have not insulated them from this, though their priorities are not news. So they've kind of weaved in and out of questions about this. We've been as forthcoming as we can be in a complicated conversation to try and remind them that, and this goes to my point of view, and maybe I should share this openly. I was born in 1969, which makes me 50, which means that when you're on Twitch, they just mock you and throw you off. But I was raised with a view of people are people. I come from immigrant grandparents from Italy. On my mother's side, I'm the first grandchild of that family to graduate with a degree. And I was very much raised with, we're all humans. What does it matter? We're all humans. This is a person. Treat them with love and respect, period. That was my perspective. So in this 2020 scope, it's hard to navigate in a weird way, because there seems to, I have challenges of understanding certain perspectives, and I'm learning how to be empathetic and respectful to those and try and be understanding. I'm curious, how are you all feeling right now? Where are you at?
Well, being the second least articulate person in this group next to you, I'll go next. I mean,
nothing but love and support here at Outpost.
Nothing but love and support. Just to kind of ride out what you're saying, I lived in Minneapolis 5 years before I moved out to Los Angeles. Have a lot of friends there. I mean, the very guy that's helping us out with our web design and graphics for Outpost, I mean, he lives right up in, uptown where some of this stuff is happening. And, for my own personal journey of, being surrounded by artists and other individuals that have helped me along the way to bring awareness and enlightenment, and to hear other voices and other perspectives that I maybe wasn't necessarily raised with. Some of them, yes, some of them, no. I feel fortunate, but it's just hard. Like I said, I had a hard time sleeping. You're wondering what tomorrow's going to be like. You're wondering where this is all leading, from the coronavirus lockdown to now all these murders and injustices happening. It's just a really scary time to see how that everything is blowing up and on fire. And, mixed feelings of being like, well, I don't know if this is the answer, but then this can't keep going on. That wasn't a good sense of normalcy. So where do we go from here? So, I mean, I'm just, from my perspective, just trying to learn. And, I was thinking, like, what can I do? Like, what talents was I given that I can use those talents to help others, empower others, give voices to other people. Those are the things that are going through my head. And what's going to be because this is not going to fix tomorrow. What's the long haul from here? And what is the steps that we're going to need to take in order to get there? And, I'm just trying to think from my personal standpoint, what can I do with the people that I'm working with these other creatives that value giving people voices, that value education, that value diversity? How can we come together and use those things in a positive way? Those are the things that I'm trying to download, and I try to look at things in a positive light. So right now I'm trying to look at this in a positive way, even though it's really sad, and it's not good for getting a good night's rest. Yeah.
Jess, Danny, where are you at?
You want to go?
No, please, Jess. Okay, I'll jump in. I don't want to throw you. I think, pardon me, I got my cat here. Where are you at? It's a wonderful question, and I think that it makes me think. Here we are, and when I hear that, I'm glad to be in company of people who are willing to listen, to hear voices, to hear things said in a discussion. This is a difficult time beyond words. We're not going to Twitter this away. That's not the kind of discussion. And I think of what we're all about. I'm just here with, you know, a bunch of people that I love. That's a community that's trying to grow. And one of the things I think is, I think everything that I am as a person is really has been informed and fired by art. And by art, I mean, you know, journalism, writing, dancing, theater, movies, it's books, music. That's my love behind me, giving me additions. And I think that that's what this place, hopefully, what we're trying to do is bring together voices, see how just the expression of it, just a community where people are going to be receptive to hearing these expressions. That's the start of healing. I don't know how we're going to heal, or you know what that's going to look like, but I believe with you guys, because I have faith in you, and I love this community, that we can bring together more people, more representation, and more voices that have been disenfranchised. And you know, this is yeah, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Christian Cooper, you know, these are not, oh, this just happened for the first time. This has been happening for a long time. And I think that collectively, I hope, you can see it in the streets. People are tired of it. So hopefully this is the first step towards some sort of healing.
Jess, where are you at?
I am in a similar place, I think, to all of you. I have to say, well, you know, though it, you know, the pit of my stomach and the fact that there is violence involved makes me very anxious at the same time as I feel like you say, this has been happening since this country, like since white people stepped onto the land of this country. And so this is a buildup. And I feel like, you know, that there's a lot of us, and when I say us, I mean white people, having to fully confront what it is because of the undeniability of, bless his heart, George Floyd. You can't find ways to describe what you see in that video as anything other than murder. And the fact that there are, I think a lot of us, like you say, I was born in 1971. I was raised liberal. I have all these things that I was like, and a lot of what the last 5, 7, and some years, but like really trying to be actively looking at my own biases as I learn and I see what the structures are that I have been living in without awareness, and that affect people that I love and the communities that I love in ways that I was not aware of because I'm white. And so unpacking what those, not just unpacking, confronting, sitting with,
wow.
being uncomfortable with myself and the things, and looking back over my life and being like, oh my God, oh yeah, oh no. And so, I mean, this is a process that we, you know, I have to keep trying to find ways through. And the more I have aligned my artist self with the beliefs or the process of making these beliefs or finding these beliefs, the more fulfilled I feel, and also just like, right, like this is helping me to find my worth in the world by trying to use my art or my capacity to support art to make more space for this conversation for me, but also for other people who don't, like you say, who haven't had a space at the table, who haven't been able to step up to the mic, And so that's kind of been what I've been doing for the last almost 15 years, is trying to find ways to support and to create opportunity. And then also just to give resources, because, you know, sometimes it's like you can open the door, but it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't have the resources to move into the space. Right. So that's what I mean when we've all gathered together in those things, the conversations we've been having about how we can do that. Where I'm at is that I'm excited and scared.
Yeah.
And scared is, and the hard part is that scared isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, okay, I am going to be uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Use all my breathing techniques and all my things to make sure that I don't run away from this.
How privileged we are that we now get to be uncomfortable, where those that are constantly feeling that being uncomfortable, just being in space, walking down the street and seeing a cop car drive by.
Oh, absolutely. My uncomfortability.
I'm not judging you for it. I'm simply
no, but that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like those realizations of like, I'm deeply uncomfortable with myself. That is this much of what people of color are feeling in terms of uncomfortability moving through the world. Maybe even this much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the other big thing is I don't know.
Right.
And to embrace the fact that I don't know, and to not like to listen because I don't know. Like what? Yeah. Many parts of that.
Yeah.
I wanted to the thing I also appreciate about what we're doing right now is because this thing of what are active things I can do, right? I mean, there are like donate money, get out and protest if that's what you feel comfortable with. I mean, that's the thing. If you feel comfortable and you want to do that, go do it. You know, I right now I am sad for business owners and people who this is affecting economically, but I don't care. Honestly. I mean, stuff's going to come back. It will eventually, you know, and it's going to be, you know, but to pull, like, if we can, the voices have to be heard. This is just going to keep happening.
Yeah.
The voices have to be heard, and then action has to be taken, you know, to figure out how to answer what the voices are screaming. Right.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, not maybe, well, who cares if it's popular? I don't care.
I just want to point out really quickly, you know, I'm feeling hypocritical. So I want to say that the reason the four of us are on here is because this is the start of this show. And I wanted our faces before this situation happened over the last week. I wanted it. I was hoping that this conversation would be about the four of us and exactly what we're doing, talking about our goals and our objectives and so on and so forth. Our intent moving forward is to connect with people in different communities and amplify those voices to share how they're helping, how they're striving, how they're educating, how they're changing, doing whatever they can in their community, whatever microcosm it is or however big it is, to try and do that. And I know, I don't want to say who our guest is yet. I'll let you do that, Danny, because I don't know if that's confirmed or not for the 14th, but I just wanted to put it out there. But yeah, we're gonna do a lot of that in the future. And I just want everyone thank you again for joining us and connecting to what we're talking about. I want to make sure that's being put out there right now.
To add on what you're saying, Paul, to hoorah that. Yeah, this is just the start. You know, especially where we're at right now, this, you know, the channel and where we're at, this is born out of, you know, we had ideas to do this before, but this is born out of a pandemic. You know, this is us trying to make things work from our homes and trying to now get something up on its feet so we can go, come here. This is a safe place to perform. This is a safe place to share your art. This is a place for us to come together and hear each other and use those voices for a force of good in the world and change. So yeah, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, when we first start, you know, when we were first talking a year and a half ago, the idea, I mean, you guys had to sell me hard on the streaming. I mean, I'll be full on honest about, I'm theater girl. It's live. It's now. It's ephemeral. You have to be there. Be in the space together. And, you had to like really space.
Jazz hands, please.
Wide fingers. But you had, but this, I did some research and you guys kept on, talking me through it and letting go of some of my traditional ideas about what theater is or can be. And then moving, what's that? What are we saying? What are we saying?
Alone Together in the LA calendar section. Virtual reality isn't just for gamers. Artists, exercise friends, and actors in a new theater from an experimenting. What? That doesn't even make sense. Theater forms are experimenting now. Just yes-anding you, Jess.
Yes. That's what's happening. And now, but then the pandemic comes, as Matt says, and we've been talking about is that streaming was a way of giving access to a wider audience for theater artists or theater projects or live experiences, right? That was what we were talking about, streaming being able to get it out. And now as we have to flip that because of the pandemic. So then we're talking about audience, which is also led us into a conversation about community, which seems very appropriate. For where we are right now, where are we at, right? So this, I find it's very interesting to me that, when the fact that we were talking, you guys brought this in and that we were talking about this a year and a half ago, and now like streaming is now de rigueur. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's that within a year and a half that can happen. And because of an event, but also in a year and a half that can happen. So yeah, it just can't remember where. Oh, Matt, you were saying, lost my thread.
I'm going to jump in just because what you're saying, I think is so spot on, and I'll add this to it. I don't know whether the pandemic got us here or the pandemic just highlighted the fact that we are not connected to each other. That I don't think this was a result of the last 2 months of being quarantined. I think that has exasperated things. That has highlighted a kind of a condition that we've all been in, the Twitter universe, this way of talking to each other, the way certain people in the government talk to us as a country, the way this country talks to each other. It's I don't know whether that's the result of the pandemic. I think that's the way it has been for a while, and what I want to be is totally honest in this place with you guys, to be as vulnerable as I can, and I find myself my voice starts shaking because I believe that we need to hear these voices. And we've been talking about this for a while. We're just trying to give a place for this to happen. So I'm excited, as you are, Jess, about the possibility of giving platform to voices that exist on their own. We're not doing anything except acknowledging them and trying to support them. But these voices are eloquent and moving, and I'm looking forward to this venture as we, the four of us, and everyone who's involved with this, Arlo behind the scenes, Cody, it's as we support them, and I'm just looking forward to this community because it's something that I desperately need, just as a human being.
Yeah,
that I feel like this country needs, this world needs. I'm very excited in a very emotional way. Goodbye.
No, it's so interesting, isn't it? It's so powerful because COVID has put us in this position where I could run to my community if COVID had not happened, I could run to my community during this outrage and be surrounded by like-minded people and go, oh, let's talk about this. And we would talk about it, and we would converse, and we would argue, and we would discuss. I can't do that. I don't have that luxury of going and being with my big community to hang out with socially. So I'm here online looking for those connections and trying to reach out to people and see what's going on with everybody else. This show was just kind of came out of the idea of like, how do we connect with more people and talk about what we're trying to do and where we're going, and connecting to more of those community makers and builders. So I agree with you 100%, Danny. I think that it's such an interesting time to be trying to connect to people, because it's so difficult. And that's one of our, if you get a chance to see our trailer, that word connect is in our trailer. You get a chance to see it. It's pretty awesome.
Like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
To Paul.
Yeah, just to me. Yeah, man, I think it's so interesting, the timing of all of these events. I mean, the tragedy that has happened, that's absolutely at the forefront. The challenge of COVID on top of that, or what pressure has led to that, is interesting. It's not to mention, as you commented on politics, like, I would definitely love to berate the ignorance there, but from my point of view, but that is even fascinating. Like, the lack of, like, how did, my wife and I were talking about this the other day. How did ignorance get spotlighted? How did my parents and grandparents were like, you must get an education. You must, you have to learn, you have to be intelligent, you have to educate yourself. And it doesn't feel like that's a value anymore. I can just spout out whatever thing I want to say, and the world is flat. So there you go. Like, okay, but why do I have to quantify that? Or not quantify? Why do I have to support that point of view if all of my beliefs are, well, now it gets muddy, right? Like, how did we allow that to happen when we used to just shut down ignorance, or just, it would that ignorant statement would just kind of get quietly pushed to the side? Is it a result of the internet, the thing we're trying to use to connect with each other? Is it a result of that?
Do you want me to,
yeah, jump in anytime. I don't know.
Honestly, I think it goes back to Reagan and the gutting of the education system. And like, we don't have, like, there was a period of time where we were taught, like, I think really forcefully taught, well, not everything, like, as we now know, as you go back through any of the history books, it's not telling us all of it. So, but then also the lack of curiosity, and about, an asking of questions of authority, that has been, I think that was very purposely taken out of our makeup. And that means our foundations. You said about what the lens of COVID is shining a harsh light on so many systems that are broken, that are crumbling. And now we can see, we are seeing all of that. And, this goes to what we're talking about inequality and, in race in this country. It also goes to the arts. This light of COVID that is shining a light on how things are funded, how artists don't make a living, the gig economy that the arts is, and how many artists are now like at sea right now for however long until the industry comes back, which could be some time. So that's also through the lens of COVID is shining a light on many things that have been normal, the way things are. We deal with it. Oh, that happened. Oh, that's terrible. Move on. Like, all of that stuff that was the foundation is slowly crumbling away underneath us. And now it's like, oh no, because of this harsh light that is actually making us stop and look, and we have to, as Anne Bogart said, slow the fuck down and take a moment, and like, we got to really, and it's the same thing as like sitting with the uncomfortability. looking around at the devastation that is actually the world we live in.
Yeah.
And how do we find ways to not to get inspired and try to do something like this? What we are doing right now, this is one of our activated choices to do something, right?
Yeah.
After a long time of awareness, there's a can I go off for a second? There's a viewpoints exercise called the flow, created by Will Bonds, and it is, as you go, you add in these awareness in a group of people, you're moving through space, right? And what the way that I always lead it is that you start with, okay, see the spaces between people, just see them, don't do anything about them, keep moving through space, do your thing, but just become aware of it. And you do that for a minute just to have the awareness, then activate, move through the spaces between people. If you go straight into move through the spaces between people, slam, boom, maybe there's less, but if you take a moment, at least a moment, to work on the awareness, think about what am I seeing? And that I mean, I take art lessons and put them in my life all the time. And that's, I think, part of why I'm I come off as a true believer, daughter of Dionysus, because I put them into my being, and it helps and it works, for me. But that's one of the ones I've been thinking about a lot lately, is how can we take this experience right now is lending to slow down, is lending to look around, is lending to I'm so bored. Oh, I never saw that before because I haven't actually been aware of that before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Whoa, that was a lot by Jess. Thanks.
That was great. That's what we're trying to figure it.
Well, what you said earlier, Jess, about your view of theater, your traditional view of theater. And I think that's what we're talking about, is people's traditional views. What are your traditional views? And, if we're even going further down this rabbit hole of FYB theater, Follow Your Bliss, talking about Joseph Campbell and some of that, knowledge you can pluck out of there. A snake that does not shed its skin will surely perish. You have to change with time. You have to evolve. And you know what? When a snake sheds its skin, I don't think it's very comfortable for that snake. It has to get the skin off. And it's a volatile time, right? And the viewpoints thing, you're talking about walking through new doorways, new experiences. They're a doorway being experienced into a new way of thinking, opening your mind. And if you're stuck in one space and stagnant, then your viewpoint dries up, and I think art is a way for us to all look at something in a new light that really removes some of the prejudices in our mind at times. When art clicks with people, they go, aha, I didn't see it that way before. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying.
I love the fact theater, to me, just conceptually, is one of the most strange and exciting concepts. I mean, if we visited an alien planet and they're all gathering and they all gather in a room, and then all the lights go down and they're all sitting there leaning forward, and then other aliens come out and pretend to be living in whatever situation, and everyone in the watching this alien community, we go, what are they doing? And I think this is one of the things that we do, especially at the theater, or sometimes the movies and TV, but I think more the theater, is we go to experience human behavior. And we're fascinated by it because so often we're disconnected to our own behavior. We're just reacting. And the art gives us a chance to observe ourselves, to relate to things that we're seeing, or characters or situations. And I think that kind of curiosity, that kind of listening, Paul, you were saying earlier before about, when did ignorance become bliss in a way as a society? When did we lose the sense of education? And Jessica talking about, just be aware of things. I think that we're struggling with the same things that have been part of our societies throughout time. But things are so fast now with the internet technologies, accessibility, that we're constantly having to readjust. And I love, Matt, that you said maybe that a snake, that it's not easy to shed its skin. I have no idea. I'm interested to find that out, but not on the show, but I'll look that up on my own.
No, it's very true. They get really, they're very, for lack of a better term, cranky. They don't, it's painful. They got to rub. It's actually really true. I've kept snakes. They're very irritable. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, it's probably not I'm sure have you ever gotten a sunburn, how much it itches when it's starting to peel? You just, thinking about it that way, whatever. Yeah. I love that statement, Matt. I think that's great. And I love what you just said, Danny. Yeah, man.
I think, Matt, yeah, we're all shedding. We're all shedding right now. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Evolve or die.
The one, my version of the, well, I've been on Hog This for some years, but it's really becoming very relevant right now, which is the moment in the chrysalis when the caterpillar turns to goo and might become a butterfly, might become, don't know, just a bunch of goo, right? And like, it's like that moment of there's like immense possibility and fucking terror. Excuse me, terror. Am I allowed to swear? I'm allowed to swear, right?
We'll bleep it out in post.
Wild West.
Sorry. But like that's like, who knows what it's going to be. And that's so exciting and so terrifying. Yeah.
I think all of us here too, where it's like, try to be humble about this. None of us know, none of us are saying we're an authority on this. We're just trying to say we're here to listen. We're here to learn. And I think that's all you can do throughout time is being present to the moment and learning, Yeah. And trying to figure it out. Yeah. Because the time is always going to be changing. The things that we're held to today, 25 years ago, 25 years from now, what are they going to look back and say? And 25 years from then, what are they going to look back and say? We're ever growing with time, trying to carry this torch, this light, or whatever it is, or people, what traditions are trying to carry forward. If we're looking in the present moment, what traditions are we trying to take forward? What do we want to hand off to the next generation of people?
I've been thinking a lot about that in terms of theater and like, what are the things I miss? What are the things, and also putting that in that, into my heart about, because at some point we're going to get back into spaces and I'm going to be able to go to the theater again and I'm going to be able to make theater again in a space, So what are the things that I am missing, or what are the things that I'm going to be so grateful for once I get into that space, and the things I don't want to forget that I am discovering and that I miss right now, that maybe once I get into it, some of those things that I miss right now could fall away. And so trying to be mindful of what this place of not doing theater is teaching me about theater.
Always learning.
Totally.
Let me ask you guys this. To put it simply, what do you hope to do with this, with FYB Theater and with Outpost? What are some, more of a pie in the sky or blue sky ideas? Like, what do you hope to do with this? What do you guys see independently? Is it about independent work? Would you like to see big production? Would you like to see,
pizza parties?
Great. Okay, if that's what it is, if it's about the community too, like what would you personally like to see happen in this journey? Just doesn't have to be everything. It could be one thing, like pizza parties. Sure. With grape soda, that would be freaking perfect.
Organic grape soda.
Well, let's not, no, I want the sugar.
Why grape soda? If
I
have sugar, right?
I had Spam for breakfast today.
Okay, good.
I had Spam for breakfast.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's why you look tired.
Yeah, I'm exhausted because of the salt content.
Spam is amazing. Please.
My daughter started, I was like, I'm making Spam. She went, huh? I was like, what? Have you ever had it before? She's like, no. I was like, what do you know then? She's like, the name sounds weird. I'm like, don't judge. You know? But I'm serious. What would you like to see happen? What would you like? And I don't mean like on the success, on the sense of like monetary or like recognition. I'm talking about the kind of art you would like to see expressed in these mediums. Like, what would your hopes be? I mean, I'll put it in perspective. I would love not just diverse voices, where we could see diverse casts and shows produced by lots of different individuals. But I also would love to see new ideas of storytelling, new ways of telling a story. I think it's been really fun. I'm an improviser. I love to improvise. It's been really fun watching the improv community grasp onto this, a lot of this Zoom and streaming, and just having a blast with it. Doing all kinds of things, some good, some bad, doesn't matter. They're trying. So I'm curious what you think.
I'll piggyback on that, Paul, and say, yeah, I mean, right now we're just getting started. This is just what resources that we've been able to gather in the midst of a world that's shut down and it's not okay to gather and go out, or even hard to sometimes get needed equipment to turn things on enough to be seen. But yeah, is that sort of cool collaboration that artists can do to support one another? Like for example, the lobby music that was in the lobby before this broadcast started is all original work from Arlo, the guy that's running stuff right now, and another guy, Alex. Like, they needed to make original art to make that feel like you're welcome. It's just not silent there because we can't use copyrighted stuff. So then there's that, and then you find that played in another show throughout the week, and then it's this like cool collaboration where artists are being inspired by other artists, and then their voices are not only heard over here, but they're actually like singing together. So I think that the integration with technology and art and all these different things is giving us this. I don't know what it's giving us. I just enjoy it. I like that artists can collaborate in that way, and that's what it's about. It's about collaboration. It's about working together. It's not my idea is better than yours. It's about how our ideas can be integrated. That's what, to use a technology, that's what turns me on, the power. That's what turns the red light on and says, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, Paul, the thing the building of the platform for a myriad of voices to be heard is the great ideal that I hold in my heart. It's not we're not the arbiters of this. Hopefully, we're not the arbiters of what this is going to be in terms of, we're the caretakers of the platform. We're the people at saying, come on in, let us help you. How can we help you? That's what gets me excited, is how can we help financially, technically, by building a place. How can we help people be heard? And I'm really excited to hear all these voices and be inspired by them, and to step back and just be an audience member who's wowed by this. I think that's I know we all, because I know you guys, and we're all coming at this with great humility. It's a daunting task to try to build a place where all these voices can be represented and expressed, and I get very excited by that, because it's building a community that can rely on each other. It's building a community that can be connected, and we're just trying to facilitate those connections and enable people. And I think that's the hope in the sky kind of thing for me. It's just I just want to help these voices be heard.
Yeah. Nice, Daniel.
Yeah.
I want to have, all of what you said. Yes, Anne. Yes, Anne. I want, the dream is to be able to like, somebody gets a MacArthur Genius Award because they were doing some work that they uncovered something and created a piece at FYB using Outpost 13 to figure out the thing. And so then they did all this work and now they get something else. Do you know what I mean? It's like this. Yeah. This is a place for a like connection to happen, like you say, Matt, collaboration, space to be able to develop work and try things out, and then maybe it goes someplace else, or it doesn't. But we've learned something from that, and now we're going to move on to the next project. But that hopefully, if art begets more art in some form or another. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I love that in that what you just said, that you said that you really made it very clear that it's not about success, that it's just about trying. I love that. Thank you for that, because that's such a wonderful ideal, that it's not about, oh, let's pick the thing that's gonna get the most hits or get the most response. It's just about trying something. That's a wonderful sentiment. Thank you for reminding us.
You're welcome. There's I'm going to paraphrase it. It's Beckett, I think. Try, because so you can fail and then fail better. It's that I just butchered that. It's not, that is not the quote.
Fail better.
But it is, but it's about that you have to try in order to fail so that then you can fail better.
Yeah.
Right. That's I think it's Beckett. Here, tell me I'm wrong, everyone.
I love that. I think that's why I love being an improviser so much, because failure is value. There's gifts in that. And it took me a long time to learn those lessons as an artist. And I never considered myself someone who could take that journey of being an artist, because I thought you had to do it right every time. Mm. And I think that there is something to commitment and to professionalism and lots of that to being an artist, but there's also the joy of just take your fingers, put them in the paint, and then put it on the picture and see what happens. Like, there's something to that as well. And I get to relive that journey through my children, which is kind of cool. Like, just giving them permission, like, I don't know, let's see what happens. Just do it. Let's see what happens. And that's really exciting and freeing. And I think that goes beyond just art and goes into, I'm going to say hi to this person. I don't know you. I've never met you before. You and I, we don't know each other. We're different people, but I'm going to reach out my hand and say hello to you. That's scary. That's risky. That person may not like me or want to talk to me or whatever in all relationships, but there's something to me that I connect with there as an artist, where I go, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will ignore me and whatever. And like, all right, let's see what happens. Or they might be my best friend. I don't know. That's thrilling, to connect to people that way.
Curiosity and discovery. It's like inspiring to see, like, it was just yesterday, right? So much has happened, but the rocket launching.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about space, like theater space. We keep saying space. It makes me think of, outer space. And sometimes with all this stuff, it's like, God, why do we as humans spend so much time fighting each other and fighting ourselves when, like, I'm a big fan of Star Trek, and it's not, those stories aren't all just about people being perfect, but like the idea that, like, look at what humans could be possible of. Like, the idea that, like, if we all work together, that we could be exploring things beyond our imaginations right now. But we spend so much time fighting amongst ourselves and disagreeing and whatever, that the idea of space discovery, that's the ideals that, that a show like that sort of tries to found itself on, is humans are curious, and to go out and try to learn, not try to dominate or, I can't think of the other word about going to another country and taking it over. What's the colonizing? It's just like, or colonizing the good way that we're going out and exploring and trying to understand versus trying to control. Yeah. And I mean, I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but that makes me think of, like, just discovery. Yeah, just being interested in what's possible, what's out there. What can I learn from this person or these people?
We might travel to another planet where a group of aliens would gather inside a building and sit down, and the lights would go down and they would lean forward, and other aliens would come out on stage and they would act.
Yeah. We would see roommate scenes in an alien language.
Can I get a suggestion, please? Alien bowling alley.
Does every suggestion have alien first?
Hi, Tim.
And no technology, no AI, only humans and organic life forms. Got it?
Thank you for reminding. Thank you so much, Tam. You're right. You are
live long and prosper.
I'd love to come in at the last minute of the whole thing and just steal the show. That's what it is.
Brought us way up, raised our boats, man. Amazing. Well, thank you, everyone, so much for your Sunday morning. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our next episode of Where You At. We have, tell us about our guest, Daniel.
Well, I will leave all the specifics out. We're going to look at the Feed the Frontliners project, which is a project that's being run through the Asian American community right now, and the Park's Finest, and just feeding frontliner responders, firemen, and we're going to just interview people associated with that and get their stories and hear what's been inspiring to them, what's been challenging, and hear what they need. And hopefully we as a community will be able to help them some more.
Awesome. Matt, what can we see on Outpost 13 today? Tell us about what's on the channel today.
Well, we're trying to today just to showcase some shows that we've been working on during the pandemic. And if you stick around in just a little bit, we have Photo Alchemy with Corey, and he's going to take some third-party apps, and you can send photos in, and he makes art through his phone right in front of your eyes, and you can kind of chat along with him. Other than that, we have another show called Buffering after that, where a bunch of improvisers will come in, and it's a fun improvised Zoom meeting. And the suggestions are given to you guys, got from you guys, while the performers are given 10 minutes to go get costumes based off what the suggestion is and sit down and improvise a whole Zoom meeting. So it might be, they're aliens at a bowling alley and they're having a Zoom meeting about it. To bring in Star Trek later on today, I'll be opening up some loot crate boxes that we haven't opened. We got like 6 of them.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it was a bunch of nerd stuff, so we'll be to that. Got group text with Melissa and Aaron coming up later on today. We'll be doing that. We got Crockpot Cinema. We'll be showing a movie, Plan 9 from Outer Space, an old public domain movie, and I'll be making some layer dip. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff on. We're all day. And if you stick around tonight, we have Alex and Arlo, who's running our stuff right now and helping us out. They'll be making up a whole song in front of you, with you guys, getting lyrics and doing music and stuff. So a lot of collaboration, and you just come hang out with us today. Just come hang out.
Yeah.
Be part of what's going on.
Jess, tell us about, I feel like, was it the Kilroys that released a book? Forgive my ignorance. Tell me about the book.
The Kilroys last week dropped our second volume of monologues and scenes from plays that were on the Kilroys list, which is a list of some of the favorite plays by women trans non-binary writers from across the nation. And this is the second book of scenes and monologues. Great resource for anyone looking for work that either scenes or monologues from plays that would not be, say, as in a traditional narrative. So lots of voices that you wouldn't necessarily find in our traditional library settings. I would also highly recommend it as a graduation gift for anyone who's into theater, especially young women who are about to head off to acting school or about to spend a year prepping to go to try to get into a theater school of some sort. give him the book.
Nice.
Nice. They'll think you're so cool.
And that's what it's all about.
I'm serious.
I agree.
No,
I put my order in. I just want to say thank you to the Twitch community at large. I'd also like to say thank you to our tight community of people who are in the chat right now. There's so many of you who've been with us on this last 4 weeks and supporting us and looking out for us. Thank you for subscribing. There's so many subscriptions taking place. If you want to subscribe, please click that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it to help keep this going so we can take care of these artists who are on this channel. I also want to thank, and my nerd is showing, but one of the things I love about Twitch is the geek community and the nerd community. I find them to be very accepting. I know there's a lot of gamers on this channel as well, or on the Twitch as well. So I appreciate that community at large. I think they're very accepting and very supportive, have a very Star Trek mind, if you will. And so I'm really proud to be here. I'm a huge fan. I'm heartbroken that there's no Comic-Con this year, but maybe we'll have our own little summer Comic-Con here on Outpost 13. Who knows? Thank you all. Thank you to the booth. Thank you, Arlo. Thank you, Allison, for your support. We will see you all in 2 weeks. Take care. Until then, take care of each other. Bye-bye.